What is up, y'all? We're Homie DMO back again with another banger video. I want to appreciate all y'all for watching. So I apologize, I've been MIA, like I said, my last video. And if y'all haven't seen that video, check out the video where I got the new wheels, 315s in the back, Hellcat, 5-spoke wheels right there, looking awesome. I'm super happy that I picked up these wheels for a steal. So if you want to find out more information, go to that video. I got these off of eBay, or basically eBay, Facebook Marketplace, secondhand. So check that video out. But for today's topic of the video, I'm going to tell you which version of the 392 you should get. There's so many different versions with the 2011 to 2014, and then you have this newer generation, but there's so many trims, so many different subtle changes between the years, and I'm going to tell you which y'all should get. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, watch through the whole video so I can tell you all my thoughts, and I'll tell you which is the definitive version of this car that you should buy. Go ahead, smash the like button, let me hear it. It does a little cool design once you smash it. But yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. But yeah, can we admire how nice this looks? The nice tinted windows. To be honest, I should have got 5% in the front, but it looks really good. And like I said in the last video, if y'all haven't watched it, click on the top right. But let me know which colors you guys want me to do the wheels. If you guys wanted to stick with the brass monkeys, or if I should be loud and do orange to match the decals, or should I just do a gloss black and kind of do like a murdered out look and keep the orange accents. But yeah, let me know, y'all. This is the topic of today, the 392. Which variant of the 392 should you get? There's so many trim levels, so many years that the 392 engine has come out. I'm gonna tell you what you should get if you're looking for these certain types of a 392. So I'm gonna start off with the 2011 to 2014 392 variants. So this is the first year of the modern, Chargers and Challengers that they brought the 6.4 liter 392 Hemi engine. The years before that, 2006 to 2010, they had the 6.1 liter with 425 horsepower, but a nice jump to 470 horsepower, 470 torque for the 2011 to 2014 model year. And there's two variants for the Chargers. One is the SRT8, which is the top of the line, the big dog, basically the Hellcat before the Hellcats. And then the second one is the Super B, which I like to associate with like the SCAT pack. Basically, it's all performance, no frills, and I'll show you what the no frills look like. And basically that is the cheapest way you can get yourself into a 392, with prices ranging from mid-20s for higher mileage examples, and you get the Super B version, which is like the lower trim, or all the way up to mid-30s, even high 30s for very low mileage examples of the SRT8s. So that is the cheapest way you can get into a 392. And to be honest, I'm gonna always post the pictures up of what that looks like. The front end of the 2011 to 2014 392, it looks pretty aggressive. I think it aged really well, and to be honest, it looks a little bit more aggressive than this. I would say the design aged well. The only thing that hasn't aged well is the crosshair grille that you see on the older 392s, because first, I mean, that was the Dodge corporate styling before they went with the dual hash marks. With the SRT8s, you get the projector headlamps, and to be honest, it just makes the front end look modern and still age pretty well. It looks a little bit more aggressive than this. And of course, the side profile, basically this generation, my Charger and the previous 2011 to 2014, same chassis, same body style. I mean, if you just look at it from this, it looks like the same exact car. If you look side by side with subtle, changes from the front and rear. But if you look at it straight, from the side, then basically the same car. And to be honest, like the front and the side makes the car still look a little bit modern. However, the difference is when you reach in the back, this is my opinion, this was the first year they did the whole race style tail lamps for the new generation of Chargers, and they did look good until these ones came out, and this one was like more diffused lighting, LED. The other ones were still LED, but it was like individual LED bulbs all the way around, and it looked good from about over 40 feet, but once you get a little bit closer, you see the individual LEDs, and to be honest, that definitely did not age well. And the back was so boxy, so straight. This had, a little bit more curvature to it. Looks a lot modern, but yeah, wasn't a big fan of the rears of the Chargers. That's just my personal opinion. And they had a tendency of always having single individual LEDs going out. So you would have, a broken up racetrack. And of course, if you want to replace, you can't replace each LED, you got to replace the whole housing. But I will say, what does look good on those types of Chargers is spoilers. You can do a lot of spoilers on those, like, not the ducktail type of spoilers, but actual spoilers you can put on those, and they would look good. Not so much on this, but I would say the only benefit to the rear end of those Chargers was the spoiler. You can fit all kinds of spoilers on there, and they'll look pretty good in my opinion. But I would say the back end of those generation of Chargers definitely did age the car poorly. But if you go from this angle and from this angle, it looks pretty aggressive and still, aged pretty well. So in terms of interior, let me just open up my interior for reference. With the SRT8s, you still get the nice, beautiful bolstered seats. The seats of the SRT8s back then, I believe they were still a leather and Alcantara combination. They were different from this, different bolstering patterns, but they did say SRT. To be honest, the interior of the 2011 and 2014 Chargers hasn't changed too much. The only thing has changed is the center stack. And with the Super B, you do get the cloth seats, so no leather seats. You do get the cloth seats, and you get a super awesome B graphic. I think it was just like a racetrack, and with the B just going up on all the seats here. I think even in the back as well. And that was a super cool design to have just for the Super B, and it definitely made up for not having the leather Alcantara, because that was straight up cloth. So as far as the center stack and dash goes, with the center stack, you still got the 8.4 touchscreen Uconnect screen, older generation Uconnect. The AC controls were a little bit different here, and of course the shifter was definitely a little bit different. Instead of like the straight down pattern, you have the pattern where it zigzagged a little bit. I'm not sure why automaker decided to do that back then. Steering wheel was a little bit different. The steering wheel definitely looked a little cheap for sure, and of course the speedometer there, you didn't have a full digital center here. You actually had just a rectangular digital screen, but of course some automakers are still doing that today. But you still have the analog gauges, the speedometer, tachometer, and the door cards still look the same. Of course, with the newer generation Chargers, you have the stitching, but essentially same looking door cards. The interior basically the same if you were to get 2011 to 2014 versus the SCAT pack, with a few subtle differences. But of course, like I said, these are like basically the same cars. All right, so let's talk about powertrain. So with 2011 to 2014 models, you still get the tried and true 392 engine, 6.4 liter, 470 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque. The newer versions only have 485 and 475, so it's only 15 horsepower less and 5 torques less, which, I mean, not much of a difference when you think about it overall. Speaking about powertrain, the only thing that held these 2011 to 2014 generation Chargers back was the 5-speed auto transmission. You couldn't get the 6-speed manuals in the Chargers, unfortunately, and I think that made a lot of people go for the Challengers because, one, it was a super retro styling that the Challengers went for, and you got the 6-speed manual. It was way faster, definitely could hold more power than the 5-speed, and of course was faster, didn't have the long gears. So that is the only thing, in my opinion, that holds these Chargers back from absolute greatness, is the 5-speed automatic. But to be honest, you really don't feel, you still feel the power. The only thing you feel is longer gears, and of course a little less, you know, of course not as fast, 0 to 60 times, quarter mile times, than the newer SCAT packs or 6.4 liters. But hey, if you want a 392, these years is awesome to jump into one, because of course you can get one for as low as $25,000. And of course, you know, you definitely have to be wary of the large amount of miles. If you want less miles, I would say try to spend $5 grand more, around 30, so you can get these. And of course, though the SRT 8s and Super Bs are going up in price, because they're gonna be a collector's item one day, like what these are, because you know Dodge is getting rid of the 6.2 liter supercharged Hellcats, they're getting rid of the 5.7, and this is gonna be on the chopping block with the Hurricane, the higher output Hurricane engines coming out. Man, they're gonna outperform these, unfortunately. But I would say the 2011 to 2014 Dodge Charger SRT 8 Super Bs, you should get these if you're looking to save a lot of money. Like if you're looking to save around $10,000 or $15,000 versus getting one of these, and you just want a 392, you just want the power, the sound, the quickness, and you know, I would say that is a much better bang for buck versus getting just an RT 5.7 liter one of these, because you'll be way faster, you look way more aggressive, and to be honest, they aged pretty well, especially if you're looking at it from this angle. So I would say if you want an awesome bang for your buck car, really cheap, under 30K, and it is a real SRT, there's no doubt about it, you're not going to have to worry if it's a SCAT pack or SRT, because it's an actual SRT. You can plaster SRT stickers all over it, man. You'll be golden. That's the reasons why you should get a 2011 to 2014. All right, so that was a 2011 to 2014 Dodge Charger, and like I said, you should only get that if you're looking to save a lot of money, saving of upwards of like $10,000 to $20,000 if you get that, and still a 392, still plenty fast. And of course, if you get the SRT 8, that is a real SRT. You don't have to worry about people saying, oh, it's not an SRT, blah blah blah, the whole argument, and it still looks pretty good. But let's talk about the current generation of Chargers. I'm going to split this up into a few years, because there's a whole bunch of subtle differences in trims. I'm going to first start off with the 2015 to 2018 model years, and I'm going to go from 2019 to 2021, and I'm going to go to 2022. Let's go ahead and start talking about that. So for people that just tuned in to my channel, this is a 2020 Dodge Charger SCAT pack. But before I jump into the 2020 model year, I'm going to talk about 2015 to 2018. So starting in 2015, it was the first year that this new facelifted Dodge Charger came out, and it was an overhaul. It wasn't just a facelift, it was an overhaul of the front end, rear end, suspension components, as well as the interior. So it felt like a 0.5 generation upgrade, even though most of the chassis was the same, you know, the side profile. But to be honest, like, this looked really modern, especially with the LED running lights, the fog lights, and I mean, just look at that. Looks aggressive. And of course, it was the first year that the SCAT pack came out, which was awesome. And there's a whole bunch of subtle differences. Starting with the 2015 to 2018, there are only a few trims available. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, this is not a whole history lesson, but this is what I believe was out there during the time. You got the SCAT pack, you got the Daytona, and you got the SRT 392. So you got the SCAT pack, which was the lower trim, kind of like the Super B. Then you got the Daytona, which was upgraded interior and, you know, paying homage to the Daytona race cars back then. And you got the SRT 392, which was the top of the 392 engines. You got upgraded suspension, bigger wheels, and of course, you know, the interior, you can get an all leather option. So if you wanted to get these new generation of Chargers, these are going to be the least expensive Chargers. If you want to hop into a new body style Charger, those are going to be least expensive, of course, because it's older, and there are definitely, you know, a lot of perks to driving a new Charger, you know, newer interior, newer entertainment, new front fascia, and of course it's not going to age as much. I would say avoid the 2015, because you should always avoid the first model year of any car. Of course, I mean, the whole engine and exterior is the same, but they did have a good amount of electrical problems from what I've heard with the new Uconnect system. So I would say avoid that, but get a 2016, 2017, 2018 version. But nothing from the exterior has changed. The only difference is, instead of the SCAT Pack B emblem, which started in 2019, you get the RT, because of course it was a Dodge Charger RT SCAT Pack, and this is where the whole argument started, is an RT or is an SRT, because it said RT on the back for those years, but on the engine it said powered by SRT. So always up for debate. But with the SCAT Packs, you get the wheels, the standard wheels. You always get this 4-piston Brembo brakes, and then if you want to get the bigger Brembo brakes with the Bilstein suspension, you have to get the SRT 392 version. The only differences with the SRT 392 version, aside from the brakes, is from the rear you get the body colored spoiler, versus the SCAT Packs, the Daytonas, you get the matte black, and then it says SRT here. You get larger wheels. They basically are the Hellcat type of wheels. And the interior with the SRT 392s, you are able to get a leather version, full leather. It says SRT, or you can get the Alcantara leather saying SRT here. You get a little bit of a different steering wheel. You get like a metal flat bottom there. It says SRT there, I believe. And of course the pop-up screen say SRT, and then you get the drive modes, which this was not a thing with the SCAT Packs or Daytonas from 2015 to 2018. But yeah, everything else is pretty much the same on interior. The Daytonas, you have the Daytona moniker there and a little bit of a different seat design, but still leather and Alcantara. But everything else is the same. And of course the Daytona, you have the Daytona there. But interior wise, aside from little small points, it's pretty much the same. One last note about the interior, especially the Uconnect screen, you do get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto starting, I believe, in 2017. That's when they upgraded the Uconnect systems. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted a newer charger, was because of that. So between 2015 to 2018 versus mine to 2020, very little subtle differences. I mean, you don't have the snorkels that you have here with the 2015 to 2018 chargers, but everything else pretty much the same. The only differences is, of course, you get the different wheels, especially if you get the SCAT Pack version, couple badging differences, interior differences, and that's about it. All right, so the 2015 to 2018 Dodge Chargers, if you want to get into a newer body style, those are probably going to be the cheapest option. They're still pretty expensive. You can find those, depending on the mileage, between mid 30s to high 30s, lower 40s. If you get the SRT 392 version or trim, or even the Daytonas, you're looking for lower 40s, even mid 40s, depending on the condition of mileage. But if you want to hop into a newer body style 392, look for a SCAT Pack, and of course you're going to have the base model, no trim, so no plus group, no nothing, and you're looking around mid 30s, lower 30s if you're lucky, if that's private party and higher mileage. And then the 2019 to 2021, I would say that is the most definitive version. I would say that's the definitive version because of all the options you're getting, all the new stuff you're getting, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, the SRT pages, you're getting newer front fascia, you got the wide body option, and of course, a little bit cheaper than the 2022, obviously. That version, you're getting, the same car, same engine, a little bit more pricey. Now you're looking at low 40s starting, and then of course with this model year, mileage is pretty low across the board. You'll see those rare examples where they're high, but you would see starting low 40s all the way up to low 50s, mid 50s if you're getting the wide body, and it depends on the options it has. But I would say the definitive version of the SCAT packs 2019 and 2021. Make sure you get the plus group. I would say if you're getting any version, make sure it has a plus group, which is of course the leather Alcantara seats. You get the blind spot monitoring, and you get the nicer interior trim, which is of course, you get the stitching here, which started in 2019 and higher. You get the stitching, and of course the much better dash material here. And it's not the rubber basketball elephant print type of material. It's like a nice you know, faux leather type. I think this is injection molding, which, I mean, it feels pretty premium. I mean, premium looking. It doesn't feel like leather. Of course you got the stitching, which looks good. And I don't think these are too susceptible to the door panel lifting. The 2015 to 2018 versions of these, they are susceptible to lifting, but I don't think these are, which is good. And it gives the interior a little bit more of a premium feel. I mean, little touches like these are worth it, and you get this in the plus group. So yeah, I would say probably the bang for your buck definitive edition for the SCAT packs. I would say anywhere between 2019 and 2021. Of course, you're gonna get, if you find for a good deal, anywhere between low 40s and mid 50s for, you know, if you're looking for a wide body. I would say that is the best version, because you get upper front fascia, much better interior, you get the SRT performance pages, drive modes and all of that, and upgraded Uconnect. So I would say that is the version you're looking for. If you want to save a buck and be in a new body style, get the 2015 to 2018 versions, but of course you're going to be susceptible to a little bit more issues with the door panel lifting, maybe some electrical problems that they fixed with the newer version. Of course, a little bit older styling, older wheels, but those can be replaced. I've seen a lot of people replace the grill on the older Chargers. And yeah, and of course, if you want to ball out and get every single thing new, get the 2022 version, brand new. Sometimes brand new, you can get it for a little bit less than cheap, but you do have to wait, you know, upwards to 6 months to a year, which some of my friends did. So I'm gonna do a little recap, and I'm gonna tell you which one to get. All right, y'all, so like I said, many different variants of the 6.4 liter 392 engine. So if you want to hop into a 392 for the low for mid 20s starting, get the 2011 to 2014 Super B. And of course, if you want to jump into, still have your luxuries, leather seats and all of that, get an SRT 8, which starts around, you know, 30s, mid 30s for, you know, lower mileage examples. If you want to get a newer body style for cheap, get the 15 to 18 models. I would stay away from the 15s. I heard there's a good amount of electrical problems versus the 16s and 17s. But yeah, anywhere, you know, 15 to 18, get that body, get those years. If you want to get a newer body style for the cheap, I think those are around mid 30s for higher mileage examples, low 40s. And my bang for your buck edition, so you have every new looks, performance pages, SRT goodies. I would say get the 2019 to 2021. That way you can get, you know, you can option in the wide body, or, you know, find yourself a wide body, or, you know, get yourself all the modern amenities. And of course 2022, if you want to get every single thing brand new, sometimes it can be a little bit cheaper than the 2020s or 2021s used, depending on the dealership. So yeah, all good options for you, but I would say best bang for your buck, 2019 to 2021. Get used, decent mileage, and depending on if you get the narrow body, low mileage examples, or if you want that wide body, you know, starting from around mid 50s, low 50s for, you know, higher mileage ones, and, you know, upper 50s if you have lower mileage with a lot of the options. But yeah, y'all, hope y'all liked the video. Hope I didn't drag it out for too long. And yeah, let me know which ones y'all got, or which ones are you thinking of getting. But yeah, I think any version of 392 is good. I mean, we're so caught up with the horsepower wars that we think 485 or 470 is not too much, but trust me, it is loads of fun to have with. And yeah, y'all, let me know what y'all think. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. This is Rich Homie Cow, signing out, y'all.